Morning, my fellow sparrows. It's so good to be with you. Let's flop the wings in our nest. Exercise. All right. Hey, we're looking at the different qualities of who God is. Kind of like when you see a friend, you know, different qualities they have, like they're friendly, they're kind. Well, God has qualities too. And we've been looking at some. We looked at God as a God of hope. We looked at God as a God of power. He's got a lot of power. This morning, we're going to look at a word that is one of my favorite words, and it's the word mercy. God is a God of mercy, but that's kind of a word that we hear in our culture. We really kind of don't know very much what it is. And so I want to try to help us this morning understand a little bit more about mercy, because God is a God of mercy. It talks about that all through the Bible. Did you know, as a matter of fact, that in the Old Testament of the Bible, mercy as a quality of God is listed 128 times. Wow. So this is a big deal. So I'm going to do three things to help us understand about mercy a little bit. First, there's a story in the book of Matthew that really shows this. Peter, one of Jesus' best friends, had come up to him and says, "Hey, how many times should I forgive someone? 7?" And Peter's thinking, wow, look at me. I'm all that. I'm going to forgive someone 7 times. And Jesus says, no, 70 times 7. What? 490 times, Peter. But he wasn't saying the actual amount. He was saying that you're always going to be forgiving. So then Jesus told this story. It says, hang on a sec. Okay, it talks about a king who decided to settle his accounts with his servants. When he had started calling in his accounts, a man was brought to him who owed him millions of dollars. Millions. And when it was plain that he had no means of repaying his debt, the master gave orders for him to be sold as a slave, and his wife and children, all his possessions as well, and the money to be paid over. Okay, so this guy, he'd messed up on the accounts with his king, and he deserved punishment, and he was going to get it. The servant fell on his knees before his master and said, "Oh, be patient with me," he cried, "and I will pay you back every penny." Then the master was moved with mercy for him, set him free, and canceled his debt. Okay, so here's our first clue of what mercy is. Mercy is when you've completely messed up and screwed up and someone lets you off the hook. Mercy is not getting what you actually deserve. Mercy is like you taking a test in school and you get an F, and the teacher goes, "I'm going to give you an A." Well, holy cow, that'll never happen, right? But with God, it does happen. We mess up, and God is a God of mercy. Now, the story doesn't end there, and it's a very powerful ending. But if we understand how great the mercy of God is toward us, we know in the Bible that what we have done, we've turned our back on God. We're called sinners, but Romans 5:8 says, "This is a proof of God's amazing love. While we were yet sinners, Christ died for us. While we were yet sinners, Christ had mercy on us." So this guy, he's forgiven his debt, millions of pounds, right? He's not going to be put in prison. He's let off. What mercy to this guy. So then he goes out and he finds one of his fellow servants and who owes him $50. And you know what he does? He puts him in prison. The guy begs, "I'll pay it back." But he puts him in prison. So the other servants find this out. And they went to the king and they told him about it. And this king is like, "Wait a minute, I just forgave you millions of dollars. This guy owed you 50. I showed mercy to you, but you did not show mercy to him." And so the king puts the guy back in prison. So here's the first part of mercy. When we are shown mercy by God, the way we know that we've accepted that mercy is if we have mercy on someone else that has wronged us. Remember, mercy is not getting what you deserve. So if someone offends you, it's saying, I'm going to show mercy towards you. Did you know that the word, you know what the actual definition of the word in Hebrew is of mercy? Womb love. It's mother love. It's the most tender. So you, all of you, every one of us here have mothers, and we came from our mother's womb where we were formed in love in secret. Mercy, womb love, 128 times in the Old Testament. This is the motherhood of God, the mothering of God, the womb love she has for us. That's pretty incredible, because you can look at your mothers, right? Many of us can. We've probably had, not everyone's had a great experience with a mother. I realize that. But sometimes it may not be our own mother, but someone else in our life has become a mother figure to us and has mothered us. And that type of mothering, mothers are great about being unconditional about their love. My son Sam, who has disowned us and we haven't talked to him for many years, I watched Sue as a mother with him. She continues to never give up on him, continues to have a merciful attitude towards him. That's how we are to be towards others, because God is that way with us. Last thing about mercy is a real life experience I had. Years and years ago, a very close friend that ended up working with me. And it's kind of a long story, but I'm trying to whittle it down. I ended up having to fire her. And she didn't talk to me for 4 years, and my 30-year friendship ended. And I grieved it. And then 4 years after that, I get an invitation from her to her daughter's college graduation party. And I couldn't believe it. So I went to the party, and I didn't know what to expect from her when she saw me. But I got out of my car. I was walking towards the house. She sees me. She throws her arms up in the air and runs to me and wraps her arms around my neck. And I'm like, oh my goodness. Next morning, we go out to breakfast. And she looks at me. She says, Nick, I don't know what happened, between us, but we've been friends for 30 years. And this relationship and life are way more important than anything that could have happened. So Nick, we have a do-over. That is mercy. That's my greatest experience of mercy I've ever experienced. Pam showed mercy to me, and now this very day, we are deep spirited friends, deeper than ever. That's mercy. That's what mercy does. So, your God of mercy, the womb love God, has mercy on you. Now you go and have mercy on someone else. Amen.